Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic day. Today's upload is going to be about the long range outlook update that will be covering most of the United States, and I will try doing this under 13 minutes. So if you like these type of videos, if you like my channel, if you're new, just consider checking it out, consider subscribing, helps my channel grow. So thank you for considering doing that. Now the first thing I want to look at is the GFS 2-meter temperature anomalies. The GFS, many people don't like it, but I technically do like it actually, due to the fact that it is a long-range forecast model. It goes out very far, out to almost 10 to 15 days, and it does a fairly good job at showing patterns that may be happening over a certain period of time. So overall, I do like the GFS. In terms of snowstorms, the European does a bit better job, but the GFS definitely is not a bad model. So this is a 2-meter temperature anomaly. This shows you whether it's above or below average at what given time. Here's the time and the date, and the oranges mean above yellow or above average temperatures, and the blue means below average temperatures. And the brighter the orange, then the more above average, and the darker the blues, then the more below average. So after the storm that we will be having, I'm not covering this storm in this video. It's Winter Storm Bruce, one heck of a storm across this part of the country. We will be looking at a cooler shot of air actually, and this shot of air there's something very fascinating about this. So watch this area where the snowpack fell down. So somewhere in here. Watch what the temperature does. I don't know if you could see that better, but you see that faint outline of that those colder temperatures, how they stay in one place? Right over there, that is a snowpack where the snow fell from this winter storm. You could see it. You could see it very clearly right here, the snow where that snow fell. Since snow is white, it's reflective, and that gives off more colder, or throws the heat back off into the atmosphere, so it's not as warm and it's actually colder. So we get this cooler shot of air, lasts through about late almost into the weekend, and then we start seeing a warming up pattern, but not necessarily warm. It's just kind of in between. You can see some cooler, some warmer. Here a little bit cooler, up in the north a little bit warmer. Nothing special. I wouldn't call it a cold outbreak or a warm outbreak. Maybe a little slightly cooler in the west. So this could definitely be something for the west and western part of the country. But then it starts transitioning into the east, and we see this huge reservoir of cold air just getting stored up here in Canada. And whether or not that comes crashing in, according to the GFS, it does into early December. We will need to wait and see. On the last previous run, this is actually, I am recording this on Saturday, but since it's a long range, not much will change in one day. So that's why I'm recording it as of Saturday evening. We'll be releasing somewhere around Sunday midday probably. So this is the last GFS model run, and in terms of its cold temperatures, you could see it also has first that little phase of cool weather in the west transitioning to the east, and then that the potentially an Arctic outbreak out into the rest of the United States. In terms of temperatures, let's go to 2-meter temperature shaded. Let's go to hour 0. And after this storm, I think this will also show on this thing, like the cooler temperatures. Yes, it is. You can see that darker blue little coloring. Let's zoom in on this. I don't know, I kind of geek out over these small things. It's just really cool to see. You see that darker color? 15, 16, and then it's warmer to the south and even warmer to the north. But right where that snowpack is, it's going to be colder. And you can see it actually gets fairly cold during the night time hours. This is Tuesday. Could get down into the single digits, especially with that snowpack. Again, wherever this does fall, because this could still change slightly. So let's zoom back out into the continental United States, since this is a U.S. long-range outlook. We are looking at below average temperatures for sure, like you saw with the 2-meter temperature anomalies into early next week. But then we could start seeing a little, the frost, the freezes, the below 32-degree temperatures backing away into the north. some of that warmer air, those 50s, 40s, even 60s further south, breaking into the United States. Though it is fairly chilly up in Canada, obviously, and in the northern part of the United States, and in the upper elevations of the mountains. But we could get a break from that around late late November into early December. We could see a little break, but we definitely start seeing, again, that very cold air potentially making its way down into here with the single digits and way colder temperatures than what we would see typically. So, again, does this mean this will happen? No, it's a long-range outlook forecast in some sense of an educated guess. Now let's look at the precip side of the forecast. So we know that when it comes to temperatures, we are expected to see cool off in the east, warm in the west through this next week, and then we could see a warm up in general for much of the country, not moch. And at the end of the forecasting period, we could see a cold shot of air, which we will need to monitor and watch. In terms of the precip, things go actually fairly interesting. So we have this storm right here, passes through, potentially impacting parts of the northeast with some snow and rain. And then we get, a couple more storms pounding into the west. We could get another little clipper system into the Midwest. And things look actually fairly active. We could be seeing storms here and there, some showers, some flurries associated with the colder temperature. This would actually be a cool shot of air right here. And overall, I would say that there looks to be fairly above average and fairly active. In terms of large storms, nothing in particular other than this big storm and a potentially big storm out in the west here. We'll need to monitor this little clipper of some sort. This could definitely strengthen into a bigger storm. So that is definitely that. Let's look at the 6 to 10 day outlook in terms of the Climate Prediction Center. So this is kind of an overview of what I said. Again, in this midterm forecasting period, November 30th through December 4th, we see a warm-up and a little bit cooler in the west and a little bit cooler in the northeast. I wouldn't be too confident about that, but I would be confident in the warm-up here. And then precipitation probability, like I mentioned, fairly active, fairly above average for much of the country. Maybe parts of southern Texas being below average, but that's only a tiny section. This is probably the most above average a map will be at one given time. This is actually fairly insane. Let's go to 8 to 14 day outlook, which is extending into that period where that cold air could be starting to dive down into the United States. We are seeing that the cold air pushes a little bit further to the west, or to the east, and the warm air pushes a little bit further to the east. So whether or not this is accurate, we don't know. Again, they're also long-range forecasting here. This is not going to be 100% accurate by far. In terms of precip probability, looks still fairly active. So in those areas that will be cold, where it will be, colder than average, enough cold to produce snow, then there could be, quite a bit of it due to the fact that it's above average. Let's look at, I'd like to quickly actually go back to the tropical tidbits. Let's go to the Canadian model. And in terms of the Canadian model for the temperatures, let's go to 2-meter temperatures anomaly. I like the Canadian in terms of the precip and their storm outlook, but not in terms of temperatures. You can see they usually forecast way too warm or way too cold at one given time. They're doing a fairly good job as of now, but then they're showing ridiculously cold temperatures, which I don't think is going to happen in the west, and ridiculously warm temperatures in the east and middle part of the country, which could be possible, but I think they just show too big. The model just shows too big of a difference, too big of a extreme, where one is 20 degrees above average, while the other one is potentially 25 degrees below average. So is it possible? Yes, but do I think it will be, after my years of observing the weather, do I think this will happen? Probably not. Not as great as the Canadian model is looking. Let's go to the CFS. This is the model that Pivotal Weather has. Let's go to their 2-meter temperature anomalies. The CFS, again, is an extremely long-range forecast. It goes out almost 30 to 31 days in advance. It's showing a cool down for this part of the week, and then a warm up, but it has that warm up going in for a very long time, all the way. This is the 11th of December, 12th of December, and then we could start seeing some moderating, some cooler conditions along with some warmer. So then we could start seeing some warmer, and then followed by bitter Arctic blast, which this is so far out, guys. I would not even be concerned about this at this point. This is very far out, and yes, would this bring very cold temperatures? It would. It would be actually a little bit too cold even to imagine and want at this point. So we are seeing regular temperatures, maybe a little bit cooler in some spots, a little bit warmer, and then negative numbers, -11, -12. So. This is extremely long range. This is just basically wish casting at this point. With anything past, I would say, even 200 hours. Not talking about 700 hours. That is insane. But we will just need to keep an eye on this. There has been many hinting that we could be going in early December, late November, more like early December to mid-December, into a very cold time period for the east and the western, or eastern and central part of the country. So again, if you like my channel, if you like my videos, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.